Yo, guys, it's Urb'n Barz, and you know that I give you the best UK reactions to rap, hip hop, and urban music from all around the world. Well, today we're going to be looking into more the technical and the techniques aspect of hip hop and rapping. And who better to show us and to take us through the techniques and the tricks and the technical side of rapping, MCing than the man himself, Harry Mack. Guys, let's look at freestyle rapping and how to get better at freestyle rapping. Go, Harry. Go, Harry.
I'm working on setup, punchline with no filler. And I'm focused on that. So either I'm going to accomplish the setup, punchline with no filler, or I'm going to go and try to reset on the next one. What's up, y'all? Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. This is going to be a little different than what I normally do because this is not going to be a performance as much as it's going to be a window into, a typical Harry Mack freestyle practice session.
So, guys, we got Harry Mack live and direct, giving us the setup, the punchline, and the performance. Or is it the setup, the performance, and the punchline? But whichever way you want to say it, Harry Mack is taking us through the process of how he compiles and how he does his freestyles. But listen to Harry Mack, and I remember listening to him on his 50th version of Omega Raps. I said it again, and I'll say it once more. It always brings me back to those times when I used to watch Eddie Murphy on Raw and Delirious. And that is, of course, the setup, the performance, and then the punchline, all the way through. Comedians do the same thing. Everyone has their techniques and how they actually perform their art, or their version of whatever they do. And it's the same with hip hop, rapping, and freestyle. So it'd be interesting to see how Harry takes us through this process. Go, Harry, let's go.
Not to just talk about myself in third person real quick, but I just did. So what can I say? It's documented. But nah, this is how I like to practice and work on things. And the first thing is we got to talk about what is the difference between practice and a performance. A lot of people are confused about this, understandably. I was confused about it at a certain time in my life too. I've been playing music since I was 7 years old, so I was taught from an early age what it means to actually practice. And even then, there's levels to understanding what it means to actually practice.
Yeah, I get it, Harry. I mean, yeah, you practice, and when you practice things, you actually practice to actually perform. So when you perform, your performance is perfect, but you practice to become perfect, if that makes sense. So when you practice, you'll be practicing all levels of things. You'll be practicing delivery. You'll be practicing sort of runs. You'll be practicing scales. You'll be practicing sort of different techniques. You'll be practicing all sorts of stuff. And remember what they say, practice makes perfect. So the more that you practice, the better and the more proficient you become. So you practice to become proficient. So you practice, and like I'm massive into boxing. Boxing is my bag, boxing and hip hop, and I practice everyday boxing. And what you do with boxing, you practice the fundamentals, and it's the same thing with hip hop. So you practice to do the fundamentals. So once you become to do those fundamentals effortlessly, you can actually start to put on other areas on top of those fundamentals, which is the areas which people will say becomes your style. But the fundamentals are the basis, the bedrock of anything. So this is what Harry's talking about. Take it away, Harry.
My conception of practice when I was 7 is much different and less mature than my conception of practice now, or even my conception of practice when I was in high school, college level, post-college, right? I've been playing the drums since I was in 5th grade, and I actually went to college to study jazz as a drummer. So I was constantly practicing and reassessing what it means to actually practice and work strategically at your weaknesses to.
It's funny Harry says this, that he used to do drums when he was young as a kid, because I remember hearing similar sort of things with Rakim, and I can't remember. I know that in Rakim's family, someone was a saxophonist. I'm sure it was a saxophonist, but they were into jazz, and Rakim came from the jazz aspect, because that's how he said. He used to say, like, so you've got your measures between your beats, okay? So an MC, a hip hopper, you rhyme between the beats and you rhyme on top of the beats, and what he was saying was there's all those space in between the beats, the boom bap, boom boom bap, boom, bap, boom, 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 bap. So in between that, the kick and the snare, you've got all that space, you've got all that real estate to actually do your rhymes. And Rakim he said he used to follow the jazz element of it. You know, how these guys used to free flow. So you've got the guys who just stick to the basics, whatever, but they used to free flow, like when they played the sax and all these other instruments, whatever. And that's how Rakim started to do his rhymes. And then people used to pick up on that, you know? So absolutely correct, Harry. Absolutely correct. There's so much, but I've always found when people have come from a musical background, there's a musical real estate from them, whether they were playing musical instruments or whether their parents were played musical instruments, their parents were singers, their parents were DJs, their parents played, you know, sort of whatever. It's really interesting to see how they approach, you know, or their approach to music, and, you know, whether they are MCs, whether they're producers themselves or whatever, or DJs even. It's really interesting when you start to speak to people who've got that musical background. Very interesting indeed.
Improve, which is something that doesn't only apply to music, right? It applies to life in general. We all practice all the time to try to improve ourselves, or at least we should. Level 4 hype train at 81%. Let's go! Go is what I meant to say. Wrong button. Thank y'all. Y'all are going crazy. Let's go. So what is the difference between practice and a performance, just at the basic level, right? You know, the great jazz saxophonist Charlie Parker, who is considered, you know, probably the greatest jazz musician to ever live, the inventor of, in many ways, of the bebop language, which came to define everything that happened in jazz, you know, from the 1940s onward. Charlie Parker said something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing, something to the effect of, you know, practice your scales, practice your arpeggios, and then forget all that bullshit and just play, right? And that's not exactly how, but it was something very similar to that. So what did he mean by that? He meant that when you're in the practice room, you're working in a very strategic way, right?
I remember years ago when I was into all this, when I was a very young kid, we used to call it jamming. So I used to jam with people who used to play the instruments. I remember we used to go down the Iceni Club. We used to jam. I used to bust some rhymes on top of it. It was fantastic. That's the only way to improve your skills. And also it starts to improve your skills in a live environment. When you've got live instruments going again, you know, rather than just, you know, turntables, etc., etc. But practice makes perfect, you know. You jam, you start to get used to playing with other instruments and other people MCing at the same time, blah blah blah. Yeah, I understand.
Setting up certain parameters, you're working on specific goals with a specific aim in mind, right? But when you go out on that stage to perform, you're letting go of all of those specific goals. You're letting go of all of those scales and arpeggios and methodical, you know, calculated things that you've worked on in the practice room, and you're just letting it all kind of amalgamate in your heart and in your soul and come out through the instrument, right? So practice your scales, practice your chords, and then forget all that shit and just play. That basically sums it up right there, man. I mean, I think that actually Charlie Parker pretty much got us all the way there. You know, when you're practicing, you're working towards a specific goal methodically, right? You're usually making a lot more mistakes because, you know, you're focusing in on a particular goal. On the other hand, when you're performing, you're less likely to make mistakes per se, because if you start to go in a direction where you're uncomfortable, you're just going to change directions and do something that you are comfortable with, right? Does that make sense? So, you know, another thing I used to say to my students all the time was, if you want to sound great, you have to be 100% willing to sound bad, right? Because when you're practicing, you're not always going to sound great, right? Because you're working at things that you can't quite do yet. You're working at things that you haven't mastered yet. And you can always tell the difference. I remember in music school, I would sometimes listen, we had this shared drum practice room. All the drummers in music school had their drum sets set up in this one big room that we all had to share. So we would try to schedule it out, and all right, so-and-so is going to be in here from 1 to 3. I'm going to try to get in right after him. Or, you know, a lot of times it's like, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. so I can get in there and practice before anybody else and kind of stake my claim in the room. So, you know, it was cool. We all had to learn how to work together and compromise and share that space. But when you were sitting outside waiting to get in there, you could always tell if somebody was playing or practicing. If they were playing, they sounded really, really great, right? If they were practicing, it sounded like they were working something out. So today we're going to try to, you know, work some things out. This is an experiment. I've never done one of these before, so y'all are here for the debut. Welcome. All right, so first thing I'm going to work on before I drop this, set up punchline, right? So this is a freestyle technique, setup, punchline. I've talked about it a lot. The way it works is you target a word, right? In this case, I would target the word network. I'm using random word generator, by the way, because it makes this very simple when you're practicing. You're only looking to one place on the screen for the word, and it gives you the word in plain English, right? If somebody holds this up, if I'm rapping about everything I can see and somebody holds this up, first of all, I have to choose to rap about this thing they're holding up. I could also choose to rap about this other thing that somebody else is holding up. Or I could choose to rap about something in the corner I can see. So there's more of a choice that has to be made in terms of where I'm focusing my attention and what I'm going to rap about. And that takes up some of your mental RAM. Just deciding what you're going to rap about when you're looking around takes up some of your mental RAM, right? So on top of that, another layer to it is now I have to choose what I'm going to call this. Am I going to rhyme with water bottle? Am I going to rhyme with hydration? Am I going to rhyme with drinking, sipping, H2O, liquid, container, right? This can be a million different things. It's not clear exactly what it is that I'm going to be targeting. So again, that takes even more mental RAM, right? Not only do I have to look around and select what I'm going to rap about, but now I have to also choose from a long list of options what I'm going to call it. Now, it's most obviously a water bottle, so maybe that just dawns on you quickly and you commit. But still, it doesn't say water bottle written on it, right? So you have to use a little bit extra mental RAM to decide what you're going to call it. Yeah, and you know we're leading rappers to the slaughter while we're drinking the water. And we're going full throttle while we're sipping the bottle. But that's a given, so I didn't want to waste too much time on that.
Guys, whilst our man Harry starts to even implement the freestyles while he's teaching us, I just think I'm going to cut this video into two parts, and I think I'm going to do it two parts. I think the first part is going to be the technical, so this is going to be for you guys who want the breakdown of how we actually do, and then I think the part two is going to be the performance, because we're already 6 minutes into this track, and this is a half an hour sort of 22-minute thing here, and yeah, some people will be interested in the technical capabilities, you know, the technical aspects of what Harry's doing, but some people are just interested in the performance. So I'm going to split it into two, guys. So I think around about here, I'm going to split this. So yeah, let's go, Harry.
Okay, so the first technique is set up punchline. The way it works, I target the word. In this case, it would be soul, right? I put it at the end of my rhyming couplet. Right? A rhyming couplet is just two lines that end with a rhyming sound. So very simply would be, yo, I'm about to do a little rhyme. This is something that I practice all the time, right? First line, yo, I'm about to do a little line. Or, yo, I'm about to do a little rhyme. Second line, yo, this is something that I do all the time. That's a rhyming couplet, very basically, right? It's the most basic way that we can put, you know, rhyming lyrics together or rhyming poetry together. This shit dates back to like Shakespeare and stuff like that. All right, so rhyming couplet. We're going to target the word, and we're not going to say it at the end of the first line. No, we're not going to burn it up and waste it at the beginning. We're going to put it at the end of the second line. Why? Because whatever goes at the end of the second line is going to be the most impactful thing that we say. You know, we're building up to end with this final rhyming connection. The end of the second line is the moment that it rhymes. Not only that, it's the moment that you incorporate the random word, thus revealing that you're actually improvising, right? It's a massive power position. Anything you put at the end of line two is going to be explosive no matter what. Proof of that, anytime you watch a freestyle on Sway or Funk Flex or wherever you're watching a freestyle online, whatever, if you pay attention to when people react and go, oh, right? It's almost always, 99% of the time, after what's said on line two of the couplet. Very rarely would it be, you know, after what's said on line one, unless they said something so insanely crazy in line one that it warranted a reaction before there was even a rhyme, right? That would very rarely happen. You can say whatever you want in line one, right? Yo, I pulled up on a purple giraffe. It's like, what? Nah, I'm playing. I just said that shit to make you laugh. Oh, right? Even in that case, in that silly example, it gives you enough satisfaction to feel like, oh, that's the moment where it rhymes and it made sense and it culminated with that make you laugh, right? That's why we're not going to put the target word at the end of line one. We're going to save it and put it at the end of line two in a really strong power position. We're going to quickly work backwards to set up something that rhymes with soul, right? That could be a lot of things. Pole. Every time I rhyme, they know I got the pole. People about to feel these lyrics up in their soul. That's a very basic example of a setup punchline couplet based on this word soul. Y'all with me? All right, this is going to be educational too. This is dope. Not only am I just, it's really, I guess, less of a practice session and more of like an educational session based on the types of things that I practice. So a lot of times the setup line will contain some sort of filler phrase like, hey, yo, it's Harry Mack, or hey, yo, check it, or this is how we do it, right? Or whatever, something that doesn't really mean that much or assert that much, but allows me the time needed to finish setting that up and then get to the punchline, which is really the important part. So you'll end up with, hey, yo, it's Harry Mack. Y'all know I'm in control. Every time I'm spitting, I'ma bring it from the soul. Hey, yo, it's Harry Mack. Y'all know I'm catching mad wreck. Every time I'm spitting, they be loving every aspect. Hey, yo, it's Harry Mack. I'm dropping all the intellect. I hit you right on. I never do it indirect.
And who said men can't multitask? So Harry Mack is multitasking here. So he's dropping rhymes. So he's looking at the next word, dropping the rhymes, and then he's actually having to click the random button for the next word again. That's hard in itself, you know, because he's right. It does take a lot of mental capacity to actually figure out what you're going to say and figure the flow, etc., etc. Yeah.
Hey, yo, check it. I'm out here bossing. H Mack copping lyrics from out the auction. Right? So in all of those cases, the very first thing I said each time I pulled up a new word was either, hey, yo, it's Harry Mack, which I became very famous for in the beginning, right? And still do sometimes. Or I think I said, hey, yo, check it. Another one I hear myself saying a lot is I'm on another plane, which became a filler phrase, right? These filler phrases come and go.
So basically, when he's saying he's doing these filler phrases, as he's saying, hey, yo, it's Harry Mack, he's actually thinking of the next link up words and the next link up line to rap. So when he goes, hey, yo, check it, that just comes off the dome, just flows. But as he's saying, hey, yo, check it, Harry Mack's actually thinking of the next thing he wants to be saying. And that's interesting to know, because I always thought to myself, you know, how's he doing it? And there's little tricks of the trade that he's just letting us know.
You invent new ones and they accidentally get stuck in there and start happening too often. It's not the worst thing. It's not the end of the world. Filler phrases are kind of a natural part of real, like, improvised freestyling. You need a mental breath sometimes. So sometimes you have to say shit that is just filling up space and keeping the flow continuous. So it's not the end of the world, but we're practicing. We're focusing on weaknesses. We're trying to get better. So right now, I'm going to attempt, I'm doing what I'm feeling, right, one time. But when I'm practicing, I'm trying to reduce the filler as much as possible. Which is very challenging because you leave yourself almost no room for a mental breath. So we're going to see how it goes. What I'm going to attempt to do is, goddamn, and they had to give me like the 6-syllable word. All right, Ferry. So I'm going to attempt to extract like some actual content, not just from the punchline word, but from the setup word as well. I hope I'm not getting too technical and losing everybody, but you know, you always pull some kind of content from Ferry, right? My flows sound magical just like a fairy. But you don't usually do it from the setup. You just say some filler shit. Hey, yo, it's Harry Mack. My freestyles vary. All of my lyrics are magical like a fairy. Well, what if I was able to pull and extract some actual content from the setup word vary, V-A-R-Y, as well? Different every time. My freestyles vary. All of my lines are magical like a fairy.
Like that, different every time. That's varying. My freestyles vary. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Let's check it out, Harry.
Shit. Hey, yo, it's Harry Mack. My freestyles vary. All of my lyrics are magical like a fairy. Well, what if I was able to pull and extract some actual content from the setup word vary, V-A-R-Y, as well? Different every time. My freestyles vary. All of my lines are magical like a fairy. Now we're getting to the point where, you know, it's basically, it's written bars, but it's happening on the fly, right? So that's my goal. And we're going to try this. Enough talk, man. I've been talking forever. Shout out to everybody watching this right now, man. Thank y'all so much for being here. This is the type of shit we're going to do on Twitch. Baby, let's get it. So let me drop the beat. Set up punchline with the goal of reducing filler as much as possible. Yeah.
Love the beats Harry comes with.
Hey.
Love them.
Hey.
Yo.
Yeah. Notice I'm going to switch the flow up a lot less. I'm not thinking about flow. I'm thinking about one specific technique, right? All you rappers are bored, stepping in the session just to settle the score. It's like they stabbed me in the chest with a knife. These rappers killing me. I gotta hold the game in my hands. Responsibility, throw you in the garbage. All you artists more trash. Mac about to reign supreme. Check the forecast. They can study, but they couldn't do what I do. I be flying over heads like a bird's eye view. Right where my feet hit the ground, that's where I stand. Yeah, at attention, I'ma hold your command. I be on stage, mic in my palm, I will perform. You rappers embarrassing, you nothing but corn. Hit you like a missile, I'm spitting them projectiles. Kick you out the area, y'all are in exile. Get into the paper, grab the bag, get the loot. Every time that I be flowing, I be growing like some fruit. Like an animal, the way I'm busting out the cage. I can do it in the booth, I can bring it to the stage. People wanna feel my vibe and peep my essence. I'm about to wrap this up just like a present. With the game I be flirting. Check the way I put it together with perfect wording. That was a moment I wanted to say, hey yo, it's Harry Mack.
Hey yo, it's Harry Mack.
I'm not gonna say it. Alright.
Guys, that is amazing. So he's literally boom, 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 boom. Just a new word each and every time. And he's rapping and he's keeping in flow. He was flowing like a what Harry does is amazing, people.
Check it. Give me the injection in my arm cause I'm sick. I'ma build the foundation, so check the way we laying bricks. When I flow, y'all know that I grow like a tumor. Rappers got me cracking up, it's straight humor. Throw my flows in the U-Haul, it's time to move. Getting better on the daily, we gonna improve. I be bending over, leaning, I be off kilter. I speak my mind freely, I don't even got a filter. Give me the first place, blue ribbon cause I'm winning. And it's been that way since the beginning. Shining like the solar, I'm up there with the stars. Crush a rapper in the red dust like Mars. I don't need to write it, I recite it off the mental. I gotta have a skill set, that much is essential. The cup is never half empty, mine is half full. AKA I'm positive, I'm chasing my goal.
So this is so much harder actually, because not only that, he's having to check the new word each and every time again, and then flow again. That's incredible.
Rappers, I'm about to kill them, they gon' meet their fate. Like your grandfather's father, y'all know that I'm great. How the fuck could they ever claim that he's not hot? Cause I listen to your flow, I'm about to eavesdrop. Like the Nile River when I flow, my levels stay high, I ain't never been low. Yo, my freestyles make you holler. Shout to Mikey Yeezus, just gave me $100, let's go.
Whoa. Let's check that out. There's really? Let's have a look.
Not hot cause I listen to your flow, I'm about to eavesdrop. Like the Nile River when I flow, my levels stay high, I ain't never been low. Yo, my freestyles make you holler.
So here, Mikey Yeezus just donated $100. God bless, bro. Also 30-minute Omegle bars will be dope. So he wants a 30-minute Omegle bar. So he's literally, Harry Mack is literally having to read the generator. He's looking at people posting updates live on his feed. And then he's getting an update on the other side of people donating money. And he's actually just said thank you to Yeezus, for Mikey Yeezus, for donating $100. It's incredible, guys. It's incredible.
Shout to Mikey Yeezus, just gave me $100.
That is absolutely amazing. I didn't even see that. I mean, can you imagine that, right? You've got a freestyle off the dome, yeah? You're looking at the word that you need to, the next word in the generator that you need to come with, and then on the right hand side of that you've been updated about people donating to you, and on the left hand underneath the generator you've got people updating their little blah blah blahs. He's making this job so much, and he flows with consummate ease. I don't even know how you can do that. I really don't. There's like 4 things going on at once. Incredible, guys. Incredible.
Let's go. I be hurting y'all just like a blister. Yo, the track's my sibling just like a sister. Put you in the last position cause you about to lose. Making your selection, I'm the one you about to choose. I don't need no glasses, but I see it truly clear. I be blowing up, mushroom clouds, flow is nuclear. My whole soul's what I give. Gotta breathe these lyrics and that's just how I live. Like a waiter at the restaurant, Max at your service. I don't make no mistakes cause my flow it is perfect. I'm about to give you the gist. Hey, I'm about to read these lyrics off of the list. It's like that job. Woo. All right, we're gonna take a mental break. Okay.
Guys, at this point, I'm gonna cut the feed because I'm at the half-hour mark here, kind of thing, and I know that my camera's gonna cut off. So I'm gonna come with part 2. So part 2 is more of the performance. Part 1, as I said before, was more the technical, the teaching side of things. But guys, oh, this is awesome, really awesome. So please, can you check out part 2 for yeah, Harry Mack doing the how to get better at freestyle rapping, setup, punchline, etc. Because it's going to be fire. So Harry Mack, that was great, guys. Let me know in the you know what, let me know in the comments what you thought of that. I think Harry Mack is brilliant. I really do. I think he's untouchable as well, guys. But please let me know. And also at the same time, can you like? Can you share? Can you also hit that notification bell just to let you know when I'm dropping another reaction? And also, please, can you subscribe? But share this with all your friends, guys. Harry Mack, Harry Mack, Harry Mack. Whoa. Nothing more for me to say than just peace, love, and harmonies to you all. And have a great day. And see you on the next Harry Mack session, guys. How to get better at freestyle rapping, setup, punchline. I'm out.